Welcome to Abilene, Kansas, boyhood home of my grandfather, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and now my home too. Ike was born into an extremely humble environment on a very small Abilene farm. He and his 5 surviving brothers worked tirelessly along with their mother to keep the family afloat with just the basics. What I hope these pictures will show you is how extraordinary his journey was, from the perils of poverty to becoming a global leader. He said they grew up poor, but the beauty of Abilene and America was that they didn't know it. He had his challenges with Abilene, but remembered it as idyllic. While growing up with him, he spoke more about Abilene than anything else he had accomplished or done. I believe the values and innovations came from his mother, to which he referred to as saintly, as well as from Abilene. I'm excited to share even a little part of it. This is Abilene, Kansas downtown as it was when Dwight Eisenhower was a young boy in the 1890s. We will see another slide of the same street in the 1940s at his homecoming. This is the first home in Abilene that Dwight lived in until he was 9 years old. They lived in the 2-room house, which included mom and dad, grandfather, and 5 of the brothers. Left to right are Dwight, Edgar, Paul, Earl, and Arthur. Paul, the baby in the middle, died at 8 months from diphtheria. The rest grew to adulthood. The Eisenhowers moved into this house in 1899. Ike said that it was as though they had moved into a mansion. There were 3 bedrooms upstairs, in addition to one only large enough to hold a single piece of furniture, which was a twin bed. The grandfathers slept in the small room, and the boys slept 3 across in 2 full beds, and Ida and David slept in the other bedroom. An addition was made eventually, which moved the grandfather and parents downstairs. The small bedroom would house the oldest son in the house, which became coveted, as even though very small, it was still private. This is a family portrait taken in the mid-1890s. It does not include Paul or the grandfather, as both had passed away. By the time Ida had had 7 boys, when Milton came along, she dressed him in curls and dresses until he was 5 years old. He's in between mom and dad. Ike is to the left of our dad. Ike was a born outdoorsman. Here he is with his fishing buddies on a camp out in Abilene. Ike was not only outdoorsy, but he was also very athletic. Here he is at a football practice. It was interesting, when he went out for football, he qualified. He was extremely fit and very, very talented as a football player. However, he couldn't afford the necessary uniform. Feeling rather slighted and hurt, I pulled together his innovations and decided to start an athletic association in Abilene, where the athletes would all join and pay nominal dues, and everybody would get a uniform for whatever sport that they were trying out for. You'll see the same stadium that he's in this picture in a slide where he came back to Abilene to announce his candidacy for president. Here's one of Ike's team shots. He is 3rd from the left, our left, in the back row. This is a picture of Ike in his late teens. I personally think he was very handsome, but maybe I'm not so objective. Trains have been very important to Abilene throughout its history, including while Ike lived in Abilene. This one, Union, carried Ike off to West Point, brought him back at his homecoming after World War II, brought him back to announce his candidacy for presidency and for family milestones, and eventually it brought him home to rest. This is the other shot that I was referring to of Ike on his homecoming after World War II. This is the same street shown at the beginning of the slideshow, from wooden sidewalks to neon. He is standing in the back of the convertible, waving to his brothers and sisters in Abilene. The year of the homecoming, 1945, Ida, Ike's mother, would be named as Mother of the Year in Kansas. Of course, he came to that celebration, and there were reporters all over the place, and one of them asked her about what she thought about her remarkable son, to which she replied, "Which one?" In between the Army and the presidency, Ike was president of Columbia University in New York. Here he is shown with his surviving brothers in his office. While Paul died as a baby, his younger brother Roy passed at age 49 in 1942, only months after their father passed. So their mother outlived two of her children. Despite the poverty that they all grew up in, each was a success in his own right. Maybe that's why the good mother comment when she got Mother of the Year. Ike returned to his beloved Abilene to announce his candidacy for the President of the United States. He's making the announcement in the same stadium where he practiced football in high school. And I just had to slip this one in. It was of Granddad and me and Huckleberry Hound Dog in the Oval Office on my birthday. The big celebrity in the room was, of course, Huckleberry Hound Dog. But anyway, thank you for allowing me to share a little piece of my grandfather and Abilene, Kansas, the town that he so loved and I love too.